Hello there, I'm Steve Arcade, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers. This podcast is all about taking a trip down memory lane with everyday gamers, learning the who, what, when, where, and how behind their love for gaming. Along the way, we'll discuss different gaming-related topics and thoughts on all things gaming. On this episode, we're talking to Scott, who got started with video games in the 70s. We're going to talk about Pong, old-school consoles, pinball games like Metallica, Ghostbusters, Terminator 2, video pinball machines, custom machines, Resident Evil, how PlayStation evolved video gaming, Red Dead 2, his conversion to PC gaming, the issue of toxic community members and hackers in Rockstar Games, The Witcher series, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Outriders, the awful Superman 64, Cyberpunk 2077, and more. We hope you enjoy the show. Okay, welcome to another episode of How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers. I'm Steve. Over there is Ben. Say hi, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
And with us today, we have a really special guest. We have Scott with us today after a couple of snafus with the old telecommuting app that we've got here. We've got him on here. We got him on his phone. He sounds great. He looks great. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's great to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
For sure.
I'm really glad that you were able to come on. So, as you know, gamers don't get older; they level up. So, what level are you?
Well, it's funny. I've been stuck on level 29 for quite a few years now.
No, I got stuck on level 21 myself.
There you go.
No, seriously, I'm level 54.
Okay, right on. Officially the oldest person ever on the show, including myself. I tell people that every time my birthday comes up, I'm like, I'm turning 21 again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
So tell me, Scott, how did you get started with gaming? How did you get exposed to it?
Well, basically when they started making them.
Okay.
Back in 19 my gaming years started back in 76.
Okay.
Long story short, we had just moved up here, our family, to Pennsylvania, and I was exposed to my first big mall, which had an arcade in it. Back where I lived down in North Carolina, we didn't see that kind of stuff. Now, I did go to the my grandpa's beach tavern, once in a while, and we'd see some pinball machines, but about 1976 is really when I started the video games.
Okay.
And it was with an arcade in the mall.
Well, it was the first two things really come out to me were at my beginning, and that was the pinball machine down in North Carolina, where my grandfather had a trailer at the beach. There was a pinball game called Spirit of 76.
Okay. And
it just hooked me. I became a pinhead and still am from that day. I just the sight of the red light double bonus coming on, just the sounds of the pinball, I was hooked. And then probably as far as video games go, the first thing that I remember, and I didn't realize this, that Pong came out in 72, but I was the first time I played Pong, we actually bought the home version of it. It was called a Sears Telecade. That was in, I think, 1976. And the reason we bought it is because we could afford it. That particular console, not only was it was new in a lot of ways. You actually interacted with your television, and before that, my only experience was changing the channels, and fixing the little metal antennas when the picture got bad.
Right. Yeah.
But so it was a really well translated well at home, because obviously it was just a black and white game with simple controls, and it played well. So I've been a gamer all my life, so we could sit here for hours.
So tell me, on the Sears system, what kind of the controllers, like little dials, like the Atari controllers for Pong?
They were the little paddle controllers. They were connected directly to the unit. The unit was very big.
And
it
definitely
only had
wasn't wireless
4 games.
back then.
Yeah.
Huh?
It definitely wasn't wireless back then.
No. And what's funny is, to your point, just changing, getting it, what's a UHF controller, and what, you screw this thing into here, and you have to get the right channel, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
Right,
you could be fiddling around with it for a while. And when you finally got the right channel and it was on and it came on, it was just like, wow, this is, it's so cool.
Yep, plugging it into the back of the TV, you had these two little prong things hooked to little wires. You had to unscrew little screws on the back of the TV, Ben.
Oh,
and
wow.
you put these prongs up. They made hot connections to it, and then you would screw those in tight so it would hold them in. And it went to this little UHF box that would basically override channel 2 or channel 3 on your television.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Hooked into the console. And that was
That's
how you
crazy.
hooked up like all of those, is like the Atari system, the Commodore 64, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original Nintendo, even the Super Nintendo back then. That's how you hooked all of those into those TVs.
Wow.
Yeah, and it sounds simple now, but at the time, it was like, oh my gosh, this is complicated.
Rocket science.
Now it's HDMI, man. HDMI is so like you just plug it right in, and the TV's like, do you want to enjoy this? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Serving your games now.
Yeah.
So you mentioned pinball. I love pinball. I wish I had been able to spend more pinball time when I was younger. Let me ask you this. What was your all-time favorite pinball machine?
Well, man, that's a tough question. It might be the one I have in my house. I have 2 pinballs now. And wow. Metallica. I have Metallica and a Ghostbusters, and I will never get rid of Metallica. Yeah.
I never got to play the Metallica pinball. I think I've seen video of it.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. I mean, it's a keeper. It is absolutely a keeper.
Would you do me a favor?
Huh?
Would you do me a huge favor?
Sure.
Would you send me a short video of you playing that so I can cut it into the pod like right now?
Yeah.
This is what I did, right? Okay. Yes. Could you?
You saw how much trouble I had just connecting to you guys.
Just make a video on your phone and send it to Ben.
There you go.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in right here. Nice job. Just now, we just clicked over, and now we're back. That was fucking sweet, dude. Thank you for sharing that with us.
All right.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I want to see that. So I will tell you my favorite, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, that's a great
That was such a great pinball machine. That was
the thing about
fun.
I don't know if you know this, but that was the first DMD pinball machine ever made. I think it was 92. It came out, and it was the first DMD, which is the digital display before they had that. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's the first DMD.
I loved that one. The Jurassic Park
great.
Pinball was also a lot of fun. That particular
getting that super jackpot on T2 when you've got it lit up, maxed out, man, that's just the best.
Yeah. Yeah, big fan of those.
My pinball was limited to the little Space Cadet one that came with Windows. What was it, Windows XP?
Which brings me to my next question, pinball related. How do you feel about video pinball? Because do you? Because I've seen. Have you? I don't know if you're a Reddit guy. On Reddit, there's a subreddit called /r/Cade, CADE, like my last name, and it people post arcade machines that they build and restore and stuff like that. They also do custom ones, and I've seen custom pinball machines where they take like a 43-inch TV, right? And they lay it down as what would be the bed of the pinball machine. Look out behind you. Cat attack.
Cat attack.
And then they put another TV like right up here, at the top of it. And then they put all the switches and stuff. So they've got the pinball running there in front of them on a video screen.
Well, what's funny is not only are there some custom ones that are just Cadillacs. I mean, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for them, but they are absolutely great emulators of a video pinball. They're actually becoming mass market. We've
got a visitor.
Pinball FX has they're coming out mass market. They're actually selling in Walmarts and places like that. and they're more of an affordable thing. But I think video pinball it's not going to be a world changer, but it's growing. It's not dying.
Yeah.
And with the computers and the technology, it's getting. I mean, they're really like Pinball FX can really replicate a table. It's obviously never going to replace the real thing, but it's a great version of pinball.
Awesome. I love that. Are there purists in the pinball community that don't like video pinball?
Oh, sure. There's, of course, there. That there's jaded. There's a jaded community.
Yeah.
By the way, I love how your cat keeps coming up behind you and tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, Dad.
This is Patty. What's funny? Every time somebody comes over here, too, he gets the same way.
That's hilarious.
Like, look at me.
Look at me.
Nice.
There
That
you
is great.
He's trying to get on my lap right now, but anyway.
What? Not the first cat to interrupt an episode of this podcast either.
This is true.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
They love to be on the pod.
Moving forward, what was your a quick rundown of like what your consoles were?
Oh, dude, I've had most of them. I mean, probably I had them all. My favorite,
or maybe your most notable ones that you enjoyed the most.
Man, I'll tell you, as far as consoles go, the game that sticks out to me was PlayStation Resident Evil. That was just a game changer. It was something very new as far as
the first Resident Evil.
Yeah, back in the day when Resident Evil first came out on the PlayStation, and you were used to playing, Genesis, Super Nintendo, great systems, but you went to the PlayStation and played Resident Evil, and it was just the next level. But I mean, there's so many good games. I mean, I can't think of how.
Would you say that the place?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's an interesting point that you bring up about the PlayStation and how it evolved gaming. Like it actually did force gaming to grow up in some ways. It brought more of an adult feel to games like Resident Evil, for example, and other games. It gave like that adult edge to, like, Metal Gear Solid would be another example, I think, of giving a more mature tone to gaming overall.
Absolutely. It introduced a lot of things, 3D graphics, more involved stories. I mean, it just could do more. And I thought Resident Evil, like a lot of people, it was just a standout.
Yeah. Ben,
but again,
I forget now. I don't remember.
But yeah, I tell you, the game that I'm enjoying the most right now and is probably gone to my Mount Rushmore of top games of all time is Red Redemption 2.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
That game is just phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm not a fanboy, but I could just
it's okay
gush
to be a
over
fanboy.
Yeah, I mean, that's as close to a fanboy game as I get. It was just, I still play it now with the Red Dead Online,
Nice.
which is fun. But that campaign, that I don't know if you guys have finished that.
I haven't, but I think Steve has.
I know the end of it. I have not finished it for myself,
Okay.
but it's already been spoiled for me by now. I mean, the game's been out for so long, I'm not mad.
That was such a gut-wrenching. I mean, that is probably the most emotional I've ever been in a video game. Remember when Sophie Sephiroth killed Sophie, or what was her name, in Final Fantasy VII, and that was pretty devastating. But Red Redemption 2 right now is just my go-to.
Okay.
How
More emotional responses than your experience with Mass Effect series.
I'll tell you, Arthur Morgan is probably my favorite protagonist of all time. He just nailed that role. The guy who played him nailed it, and it's just the story of tragedy. It's just you become so attached to him, and then what happens is just, it's heartbreaking. I mean, it really was. So it's just a memorable experience as far as playing games.
The actor who does Arthur Morgan, his name is Roger Clark.
Yes.
And if you've never seen it, I strongly recommend anyone watching or listening to the pod right now, and you too, Scott, if you've never seen them. He's got a Cameo page. Are you familiar with Cameo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cameo, for anyone who's not familiar, you can go and you can have a celebrity do a shout out to you, like a personal video that they send directly to you. You can have it send to like friends, family, or whatever. And Roger Clark does his as Arthur Morgan. And you can see a lot of
That's
them.
really
He
cool.
posts them up for you to see. A lot of people will post them in the Red Dead Redemption 2 subreddit because there are a huge number of fans of his. And he is really gracious and really, really cool and very funny. So I highly recommend. And if you ever have an extra $125 laying around and you want Arthur Morgan to shout you out, man, that's the way to do it, buddy. That's the way to do it.
I'm going to ask you how much is that, because 125 is pretty steep, but
Yeah.
I love Roger Clark.
Yeah.
Big fan of him. Big fan.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I agree. And I am a big fan of the game myself. I actually kind of been into playing a little bit of the online version of it with me.
Yeah, and that's when I punched a horse by accident.
Yes, we have. Yeah. We'll throw that video in now. Yeah, that was so funny. How much of the online have you played? Like, do you know around about what level you are? And
Yes.
also what platform?
I'm playing on PC. Actually,
Good
Ben
choice.
and Ben and his brother Mike converted me to a PC elitist
Oh,
about 10 years ago.
Nice.
I remember because when we first introduced him, he's like, I don't know if I could handle the mouse and keyboard. I like my controller. And then like I don't even know how long it took, but like a while passed, and then he's like, I'll never touch the controller again.
Yeah, I'm converted for sure. But yeah, I'm playing on PC. I'm actually playing on a nice 4K rig. So I get to play the game pretty much on max. So
Okay.
it's just a gorgeous game. And as far as leveling up, I'm on level 49.
Okay.
And I'm a trader. Traders got grind, man. It's a grind. But I do love it. And now I just got the naturalist role because I wanted to get legendary animals to the trader. That's a good way to do that.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, and this is the one thing that's bugging me, and I'm sure the griefers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't run into a lot of them, but I'm starting the first time ever, just 2 nights ago, I ran into a guy who must have had a cheat mod. I mean,
Yeah, there are a lot of hackers and modders out there too.
That's really irritating.
Yes.
I'm not used to that. I'm not an online guy in general. So that's just BS.
Yeah, you're just sitting there fishing, and the next thing you know, what's going on?
Yeah, you get teleported all to one place, and everybody smashes into each other in the middle of Valentine. They like to do that shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that they do, and the most annoying part of it is, it's also prevalent in GTA Online. Rockstar Games, listen up. I don't care if you don't like this. You do a shit ass job at policing your games online. You just do. It's interesting because Rockstar, when people find little glitches or exploits in the game that can allow them to make a buttload of money from doing that exploit, right away they fucking smack that bitch down. They take it out quick. They will fix that within a week. But anytime that there's hackers, there's these so-called trainer apps that basically inject code into the executable as it runs and allows them to do all of these things to people. They just do nothing. They do nothing because they don't care. It just seems like they just don't care, and it's a shame. I have been fortunate enough that I, like you, haven't run into too many of them, and when I do run into them, I just log out and go to another session.
Yep. I'm with you. I just quit and I restarted because I think you just are going to a different forum. But long story short, it's not fun.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's the thing that frustrates me the most and what keeps me from playing that game full time or playing any Rockstar game full time. The one benefit with GTA Online's most recent DLC, the Cayo Perico heist, is that you can do it all on an invite only session. So you don't have to let other people get in your way.
Ruin
You don't
your
have
fun.
to deal with other people fucking around with your game. You can just play it. You can do all the prep missions in a private session, and then you can go, and when you do the actual heist, it's in an instanced, part of the server or whatever. So other people can't mess with you.
It's its own map.
Yeah, but once you get out onto that public server, and you get all the tryhards that want to have a high KD ratio, like that matters. And then you
Right.
get all the hackers that want to mess with your stuff, or, whatever it is. And here's the thing about it too. Like, the only way they can drop you money is like in small sacks that hit you so hard that it overloads your client's connection with the server. You don't actually get the money.
Okay, I can imagine how brutal it is in there. I've never played GTA Online. I have played the actual campaign pretty much. I can imagine it's probably 3 times worse in GTA Online than it is in Red Dead.
It can be. I mean, it's not. I don't mean to make it out like it's you get on and it's like a hellscape or anything. It's not like that. But there are times where I'll go into a server and I'll just kind of hang out for a little bit and see what's going on before I'll commit to doing anything, like trying to do any kind of public runs of like, the business enterprises and that sort of stuff, stealing cars, where people can mess with you. And as long as it seems like everybody's being cool to each other, you can generally do stuff. But you do get those assholes, man, that just want to ruin everybody else's fun. And it's a shame that if it's just people that I can defend myself against by shooting them a few times and making them regret messing with me, that's cool. It's the hackers, I think, that get me the most.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's other than that, I love the game. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I'm just not used to that. And when it just kills the immersion. It does.
I totally understand how you feel. If you ever need some backup on a long distance trader run or anything, feel free to hit me up, man.
Well, I gotta friend you, man. Yeah, if you're on like that game, I'll be in your posse. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'll show you all my tricks. I've got. I think I'm like level 90 or something.
We should turn it.
Say what?
We'll turn into the griefers.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
There you go.
No. I think I've maxed out almost all of the professions except for naturalist, but I've got all of them.
Cool.
I enjoy the game quite a bit. I forced Ben to try to enjoy it for a little while, and then
I've played a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just a little while. Are there any other games that you're playing right now on PC that you're enjoying? Are you a Call of Duty guy? Do you play any battle royales, anything like that?
How far did you get on Cyberpunk?
Well, I'm just gonna say I tried Cyberpunk, and then they were just guys floating down the street. Okay, I'll come back to this later.
The future has no gravity.
I'm disappointed with anybody with that game. I'm a huge Witcher fan.
Okay.
And
did you complete The Witcher 3?
I've completed all 3 of them.
Okay.
And I think the first one is underrated. I'm a hardcore Witcher fan. The second one, I hated the boss monsters, but absolutely. I mean, it's just a great series.
There's so much content to The Witcher 3. I've still never finished it. I get on and I spend hours just doing all the fucking side quests, and I just can't. I can't even with the main quest line. I just, you know what I mean? I just can't.
I think that's one of the strengths of the game. It's just like Red. There's just so much to do.
Yeah, I agree. Did you watch I haven't watched it. Have you watched the Henry Cavill Witcher series?
It is very good. It's very good. Now I think I haven't seen the last episode, and I think they're just completing the second season.
They are,
or they're in the middle of it, but it's very well done. Very well done.
Henry Cavill's turn as Geralt. You like him?
I do. I have no problem with him. I think it's been so long since I saw it. I think the one character was a little off. But overall, I thought it felt like the Witcher world.
My only, and this is this is tongue in cheek when I say this, but my only fear in watching The Witcher 3 is I'm just going to be perpetually sitting there waiting for him to, the Superman, right? Yeah, just rip open his armor and be like, "Bitches, I'm Superman."
No, no.
But without the mustache, Superman without the mustache. No CGI here. No CGI here. Are there any games you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Resident Evil coming out. What is it, 8?
I don't know.
I don't know which Resident Evil it is.
Oh, the new Mass Effect,
the Legendary Edition remaster. Yeah,
getting both of those for sure. And there's some other ones that are coming out later, I think next year. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the next Red Dead. I just want more of that.
Okay.
But
yeah. I think that's a ways away.
Yeah, it's a ways away.
Yeah.
A ways away.
Probably like 5 or 10 more years, for crying out loud.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, people want GTA 6 and Rockstar's over here like,
yeah.
We'll add another heist.
GTA.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to GTA 6 too. I'm definitely not a biggest fan of GTA as I am Red Dead, but I do enjoy it.
What's the one thing? Let me go back to Red Dead Redemption Online, and we'll see if we have the same opinion. What is the one thing you want them to add to Red Dead Online that they have not?
I guess just more control of the kind of crap you have to deal with. Other than that,
what about maybe content wise?
I want legendary fish. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
I love the legendary fish in the campaign. I know they have legendary animals. And I guess the one thing I would say is just a progression in things. And I guess one more thing that I'm really thinking about it, the story mode is hard to finish because sometimes there's nobody to join you in your And I got sick and tired of trying to join the last one. So I would say, just the ability to do the story mode maybe without
like solo.
Yeah.
Make it solo
I agree.
completable.
I have that same problem. I'm stuck on that same very last mission that requires other people that are not idiots to play it.
Yeah, Anthem was like that. There were certain missions in Anthem that you had to do with a squad. And then you got joined with random.
Anyway, so I would say to answer my own question, I want bank heists and train heists.
Yes.
I want those badly. Like, how the fuck is that not even a thing yet? How is that not a thing yet? That needs to be a thing. Like, we should be able to do. I want it to be like the online. The one thing about GTA Online that you are missing is the heists. The heists are a blast. They are a lot of fun. And I would like heists with that kind of preparation, several missions to prep type thing, and then finally the finale and the big payoff. I would like that very, very much. I want to rob the banks in various towns and get away with it. I want to rob a train.
Yeah.
And I want to farm those. I just want to do that over and over again for fun for like 2 or 3 months. That would be sweet.
Me, you, and Ben were in a posse doing that. I mean, that would just be freaking totally cool.
Yeah, that would be terrific. I would totally be on board for that. I can't say enough about that. So let me bring up a game maybe it's not on your radar, but Ben and I are playing it right now. It's a new game.
Yeah, I mentioned it to you earlier today.
Have you checked out Outriders? I
have. I saw it got good reviews on GameSpot, I believe. Ben says it's a good action RPG shooter type game, which is very cool.
Looter shooter is what they call it. They straight out say they are a looter shooter.
I love looter shooters.
Yeah,
give me all the goodies.
It's a blend. Like, I would say there's some elements of Destiny. There's some elements of The Division. There's some elements of the Gears of War series on Xbox in terms of like the cover fire and the movement and shit. Like, there's no jumping. There's no jumping at all. You can go over a ledge and kind of land, but there's no jumping of any kind.
There's cover and mantling.
Yeah, exactly.
There's elements of like Tomb Raider. There's elements of Dead Space with some of the monsters.
I would say there's also some elements of Anthem in terms of like the gunplay, how the guns work, and how they look.
Wow.
No Iron Man simulator though. You're not flying.
Yeah. There's also some Borderlands type style monster intros where they just like take a few seconds to show the monster.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a monster. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend that you try it out. There's a free demo on Steam that you can download that's basically the first like 20% of the mission or the game or something.
You can get up to level 5, I think.
Yeah, and your progress transfers over if you buy the game.
Are there elements of hiding when there are too many enemies?
You can hide for a second or two, but they're gonna find you. They're gonna find you.
I will say that about this Outriders game is that it is very. You have to be on your feet no matter what class you are. You have to keep moving and going, because otherwise you just get stuck and then that's it. You're toast.
Move and shoot. Kill them all, because the thing is, there's no health packs. There are no health packs. You heal by killing.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the class you play, you heal by either killing at mid-range, close range, or long distance. Like my class is the I don't remember what they're called.
Trickster.
They're the trickster, and they mess with time, so they can like warp in behind you, blast open a big bubble that slows time down, and all the bullets inside of it are going like, bullet time, like the Matrix.
Like,
and just and everybody inside except for that person is frozen. Well, not frozen, but really slowed down, and you just blast the shit out of them, and getting those close range kills heals me back up. Whereas Ben plays a character that's like a marksman,
the Techromancer.
Right.
Yeah.
So he gets kills from a distance, and that's how he heals up.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually for as much of a mesh of all these different games that it is, I feel like the one thing that is unique to this game and this game alone is the fact that your entire combat is wrapped up in you killing enough to heal before dying, like that whole aspect of having to get kills in order to stay alive.
Yeah,
that's a vampire game.
In a way, a life leech game. There are some life leech bullets.
As long as you switch the teeth to bullets.
Really fast biting.
Yeah, very fast biting.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna have to get that.
What would you say the worst game you ever played in all the years that you've played games? What's the worst, maybe even top 3 worst games that were just,
or maybe like
garbage?
The game that you just got the most frustrated at?
As an old gamer, I can name a lot of games from the 80s that were just like churned right out and were just garbage. I'll give you one. E.T. on Atari.
Oh man, you took the Rush. Yeah, that. Superman 64.
Okay.
I did play that. That was, oh my God, that's unplayable.
It is. I remember that game, and we rented it, and it was like, what is this?
It had to be a game where you progress and there's no save, and then you lose all your progression. And I mean, I can't think of anything.
So almost every Nintendo game until they came out with the little memory chips that they installed in them, starting with Zelda 2.
Yeah, that was the worst, man. I mean, that really was. That there's nothing worse than losing the hours of progression.
Or how about those games that are a little more current and they only have checkpoints. You can't actually go in and save it. And then the checkpoints are spaced out so far apart that you've gone through all this stuff and then you die because you fell off the edge or something stupid happened. And then you're back at the beginning of the level.
Guess what? You're doing it all again.
Nothing worse. There's no. That just what was it? Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins. Sure, I remember that one. That one.
It was an ass beater, but if you didn't make it, you didn't make it. They put you back to ground zero.
It was frustrating gameplay.
Oh, dude, forget it. I remember playing that and just hating that. I'll tell you, the games I hated were the games that didn't control well. If those are the ones that are like, fuck this. You know, those are the ones that really got on my nerves. And man, there were a few that were, I just can't remember anything like that was off the top of my head. But yeah, those were the kind that just got on under my skin. I just didn't play it.
How aside from the floating people, and we're coming close to the end of our time, but we mentioned Cyberpunk. Have you been able to get into the story of Cyberpunk at all, or has it just been a shit show for you?
No, man, it's been I got turned off, and again I say I don't like this, but I just, as soon as I've played it for a little bit, I heard, I mean, it was, it's getting a shit show. Like, I guess Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, it's just up there with that level of just BS at it, rightfully so. And I'm waiting. I'm going to wait, even if it's for a year or two, until the damn thing's done. I mean, that's how I see it.
Waiting for them to finish polishing everything off.
Patch 1.2 is I will say, a 34 gig patch, if you're not aware, and it doesn't fix everything, but it does fix some stuff. And I'm not defending what they did at all. I have absolutely no defense for CD Projekt Red on this one.
Yeah.
But it's not an awful game. It definitely was. It's less than what it should have been, or at least less than what I think they gave everyone the impression it was going to be. But that said, they fixed a lot. It's worth downloading the patch and maybe giving it another go.
Well, I will say that it's got some major competition. One of my favorite games of all time was Deus Ex Revolution, and so I'm kind of gonna compare that to it, because that I thought that was, and I think that game's going to be comparable. It sounds like there's going to be a lot more driving around and stuff, but I have an open mind. I love, like I said, CD Projekt, and
me too.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that when I do finally play the game, and I'll wait for the patches, that it's going to be worth it. Yeah.
Scott, we are so close to the end of our time, and I want to keep talking to you. So we are going to have you back for another episode, because we have a lot to talk about. So we haven't even covered like a quarter of it.
Dude, I'm more than happy. And yes, I mean, I could, we could go from the 70s, 80s, 90s to,
Oh yeah.
We'll make a wheel and we'll spin it.
I was born in 80. I'm 41 years old, man. So I experienced a lot of the same stuff that you did, just at a little bit younger age, man. So let's have you back. We will definitely have you back for another episode. Let's do some Red Dead. Maybe even we'll do that on a live stream on the future on the Secret Lair Arcade or on the Zivion V3 channel. And I'm Steve. This has been another episode of How It Started. We got to end it now, or it's going to kick us out anyway. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us for this episode of How It Started. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us. You can find links to our podcast episodes, social media, and more by going to howitstartedpod.com or by searching for How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We release new episodes every Friday. You can find Ben on Twitch at twitch.tv/ZivionV3 and on Instagram at Zivion. You can find Steve on Twitch at twitch.tv/SecretLayerArcade or SecretLayerArcade.com and on Instagram at Secret Layer Arcade. Until next time, I'm Steve Arcade. For myself and my co-host Ben, thanks for joining us, and be sure to live your best one up.